Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. Good morning. Here we meet again in yet another English language class of ours today. The topic we have chosen for our discussion is a creative writing, but in a way of visionary creative writing. We're going to discuss what we mean by actually this theme of visionary essay writing, and next of all we'll be planning our writing. I'll be showing you the parts and the elements that you need to predetermine before you start an actual draft of your creative writing. The text that I have chosen today is our usual one, New Expressway. You'll be remembering, children, we have discussed and read two overviews given by two different children from the United States. There was a girl called Sissy and a boy named John, if I remember correctly. These two children gave two different overviews of how the future would be forwarded in 2020. How the future would hold up for the newer or the younger generations upcomingly regarding technology, regarding science, regarding the way people's lifestyles are, regarding how and what to expect in the near future. The future they have selected in the textbook was 2020 because the book was published back in 1988 for the very first time. So since the book was being published long ago, it was quite justified for them to have an overview for 2020. For us, it's not that far away. Right now, on the verge of 2015, 2020 doesn't seem that far-fetched. It's quite acceptable and it's quite deductible of what to expect and what not to expect in 2020. So, for the sake of our discussion, we are going to further the year up to have a proper overview. Both of the boys and the girl discussed about addiction towards television. Sissy McCarty did that. She talked about the positivities and the negativities of watching TV, the programs in TV, and the broadcasts that were done on TV. What kind of adverse effect does it speculate onto the lives of young children, and what kind of positivities we may have it from television or watching programs on television. Then the second boy talked about how the world would be in the future according to them in 2020. He talked about the advancements of technology. He talked about that political situation may not be that calm. He talked about curfew each and every day, late night, starting from the evening. He gave a lot of other overviews, and we have read the passage. So boys and girls, our topic today would be based on, if you open up your textbook, you'll find out the topic based on page 261. Here, the question states that, what is your vision of the world in the year 2020? And talk about it. In this skill point, they're asking, are your views like those of Sissy McCarty's or John Payton's? Talk about your world in the future, and they have designated a year 2020, but we'll be designing our year a little further back since we are in 2015 already. So let's say if we want to predict a future that's not quite clear for us, let's take down something which is 25 years away from us. So we'll be settling down our topic name as the world in 2040. The world in 2040 or 2040. It would be quite justified and an acceptable time point for us to predict something sitting in 2015 what is going to be back in 2014. So now probably you have already understood that why the topic name was designed as visionary essay, because we'll be producing a creative writing today based on our plannings, which is visionary, which is related to something that will happen in the future, that may happen in the future, not will, of course. So let us design a proper spider diagram based on that. Following my diagram, you'll be able to create a perfect essay, or we should say creative writing based on the topic today, the world in 2014. Let's plan our writing in that case. If you do agree with the situations that Sissy McCarty and John Hayden has proposed, since the book was published in 1988 for the very first time, long ago, the thinking process, the thought process of both of these children were different. You being the children of 2015, your overview, your point of view, your way of seeing things will not be the same as these two boys projected in the book. So your ideas will be independent. It should be independent, since you'll be thinking differently. Let's plan our writing, producing the spider diagram. As the last time we did, producing a spider in a funny way, you can also do that. But yet, we are not supposed to spend a lot of time creating the diagram. We should be spending the time planning what should be inside or the content of the diagram. So, let's work on. They has given us an overview. They said that talk about your world in 2020, which is now 2040, in your usual group and relate it to the present situation around you. So they told you the circumstances and the situations that's happening around your neighborhood. It could be your neighborhood, it could be your country, or beyond that. We may talk about the entire world. In our cases today, we'll be opening up towards horizon and we'll be thinking according to the context of the entire world, not our own neighborhood or only the country. Expand situation. So they said, is the future looking bright to you? Are you thinking good things and positivities in the upcoming 2040, the time that we have projected here? Or are you thinking a lot of negativities? Don't you feel hopeful towards 2040? Or do you think a lot of chaos and other problems might arise and they might improve? So we know that every other aspect will have a positive side and a negative side. Like this topic, we'll be talking in both senses. Alright? So let's put down some of the ideas. Of course, when we think about the future, we're in a visionary format, but we shouldn't just fly away with our imagination. It should have some consistency with the present situation. How about we go with science and technology? Science and tech. This is what I'm putting down in a short form, science and tech. Regarding scientific inventions and technological development, we can also write down scientific inventions and technological development. Isn't that a very good point to discuss? You may find a lot of ideas regarding this, how science would improve and develop back in 2040 and what kind of technological advancements you can probably think about regarding any technical issues, regarding any technology that you use today, starting with the computers, with the laptops, with the cameras, with the tabs and other invented newer technology that has come in. So what kind of development are you thinking that may arise, that may develop in the future of 2040? You will think about that. Regarding science, yes, science has a lot of development, science has a lot of department too. Let's break down a few of those departments. How about in the second leg, we put down medical advancements. Regarding medical advancements, you can put down that doctors of today, the kind of diseases, the kind of problems, chronic disease and other physical and psychological problems that people may face. Some are preventable, some are curable, and some are still not. For example, cancer, for example, AIDS, and there are a lot of other diseases that the scientists today have not been able to properly cure or to prevent. So we also believe in prevention, which is better than cure, but a cure must also come in, and scientists work day in and day out in order to find something. So what kind of medical advancements do you think regarding your creativity that may arise, that may be available back in 2040? You can add on something to that. Let's come into more topics, for example, geological. In geological, we put down natural disasters. How about that? In here, we talk about what kind of natural calamities or catastrophes or disasters might arise in 2040. Would there be more natural problems coming in, since we have flood and drought, cyclones and tsunamis and other natural disasters happening in a frequent manner throughout the world, throughout the globe. So what do you think? These kinds of geological problems will improve, or people will find a way to stop them? People will find a way to, get away or ignore or to save, quarantine them from these problems. You can think about that too. Natural vegetation. Very, very sensitive and crucial topic, natural vegetation. We know there are a lot of countries here who are losing their natural aspect or the percentage that they were supposed to keep as natural vegetation, which is very, very important for their ecological balance. Now, ecology, or the balance of the world, the globe, the atmosphere, solely relies on vegetation. What do you think in the future, 2040, countries like ours, will they lose the vegetation that they still have? And if that happens, what kind of precaution people may take, or what kind of situation people may face at that point? Regarding, we're going to talk about global warming here. If it's proven, if the scientists find a way in order to prove the real hypotheses behind global warming theses, you may also talk about greenhouse effect. These are all plans. You may also have your own plans. Regarding 2040, educational advancements may also happen. The sky is the limit for you here. We still get to see that educational system has improved a lot. Classes are done in Skypes that are called, and online classes can also be taken. Distant learnings can also be done. We are doing a distant learning at this point right now. So technologically, the way of education is also improving and expanding. What do you expect in 2040? What kind of different ways can occur regarding educational system? Would there be more changes? You may also talk about, well, social or economical changes. If you do have adverse ideas, which countries are richer, which countries are less rich economically, which countries have more resources, which countries are more dominant and which are not, if there are any other political advancements in here, you may put down, based on your ideas, if you may think, you can put this point in and you may write a few sentences regarding that. Yes, of course. You may also put down back in 2040 regarding transport. Very important. You may talk about transport as well. People have found ways of transporting themselves and their goods from one place to another in different means. There could be more advanced ways. There could be more advanced aircrafts being invented. There could be more vehicles being invented. Solar system vehicles, or vehicles that will run in electricity, or vehicles that will run in renewable power. Some kind of renewable power will be invented back then. So you may talk about those too. Regarding the transport, you may also put down some points like the non-renewable energy, or the gas, or the natural gas and the natural oils spills that we have underneath the earth. They are not in immense forms. They would dry out. And if the natural powers are being dried out, what other means or what other way human beings can find out as a supportive energy system, and they can use that for transport, and they can use that in other means in our day-to-day life. Daily lifestyle, of course. You may start with this. You may start with the daily lifestyle. What kind of lifestyle situations and changes might occur in people's life, in individual basis, in family basis, in neighborhood basis? You may also talk about these too. Daily lifestyles might change regarding people's attires. They might have a different kind of fashion to wear. They might have different kinds of way of talking. They might have different jargons. Who knows, languages could be changed and manipulated in different ways. So you may also find out that which language would be more dominant back then, which kind of ethnicities would be more dominant back then. You can put down religious aspects as well. Religious aspect could be more sensitive. You have to think more sensitivity, because sensitive thinking regarding religious aspect is more important than writing it down. You may also think in a different way, like if there are more atheists turning out in the face of the earth, there will be more people believing in God, there will be more people in believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You may take down a very sensitive aspect that what do you expect would be there back in 2040 in the future. So I have shown you a lot of point outs in here. You're talking to create what would be the world like in 2040. May include these points. You may also exclude some of these points and put your own new points. And always remember your word limits would be 220. So do not overstress yourself. Don't stress any of these points and write a huge paragraph with it. Each and every of those points can be included, and you may write very briefly about what you think those points may change in 2040. And you must constrain yourself within the time limitation and the word limitation of 220 words. Don't exceed that. This is also a talent and art to be able to condense your ideas in the word limit given by teachers. You must practice that as well. So create a spider diagram first. Write down a rough work. Put down all the points in and write something about it. And when you are satisfied with your contents, then you may create a final draft. So show me a perfect little homework regarding this topic. The name of the topic would be, what would be the world be in 2040? So that was the ending of the class. You show me this homework. In the next class, inshallah, we'll meet again. So that's for today. Assalamu alaikum.